Welcome back, data leaders. We will supercharge Glue with AWS Wrangler in this presentation. We will be connecting to Glue using AWS Wrangler and Boto 3 in the next video. In this video, we will first of all understand what is the prerequisites. The prerequisites is you must have a AWS credentials to create a Boto 3 session. Second, you need to have example files that we will work with. The example files that we can see in this repo. If you have not downloaded this repo, go ahead and download it. The description of this repo link has been provided in the description. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to understand the basics. All I request is that you have the willingness to learn some simple basics. First and foremost, what is big data? A layman definition. A big data is a file or a data for that matter that cannot be contained or fit inside a RAM of one system. One system can be your own laptop or a server or even a data center. If it cannot sit inside the RAM that is contained in that system, then it becomes a big data. A file that is bigger than the RAM will actually crash the program. If you take a file and try to read it, and if it is bigger than the RAM of your system, it will crash the program. So what do you do with such files? That is where the big data algorithms and big data databases and programs like Hadoop, HBase, Hive, Spark, all those technologies come into picture. Under that umbrella only, the AWS Glue catalog and AWS Athena also come into. In case of big data, what will happen is the big data file will be split into simple data, small data, and it will be cataloged by a metastore. In a general big data ecosystem, the place where we store the information about the data is called a metastore. The metastore in case of AWS is Glue catalog. Once we split the file into multiple small files and store it in metastore, then we can send it to the network of computers, connected computers, which we called as clusters. It will be connected like all the way. Here also a couple of connections I have not shown, but the actual clusters will be connected heavily, and it will provide a very strong and fast interface between all these systems. In that way, what will happen is you will be able to process very huge data in a very less amount of time. In companies like Amazon, Netflix, Airbnb, all these companies work on very huge data sets. You must have seen the case studies that Netflix has a petabyte data cluster already running in AWS S3 and using Glue catalog. Such information are nowadays becoming a commonplace everywhere. Why? Because the technology has evolved really fast. The more the technology evolves, the way we work with the technology becomes faster. However, the basics is very, very important. And this slide is one of those basic slides. Understanding it like a layman is very, very important. Now let us dive into what is a Glue catalog. So Glue catalog is a database of tables having the location of the data. So I split the data and I put it in multiple locations, multiple clusters. How will the central processing unit know that where is the data is? That is where Glue catalog comes. So it will have the references of the data, where it is located in the cluster. Second, it also stores the schema of the data. What is a schema? Schema is the columns. the data types of the columns inside the data. Any data will have various columns. It could be one column, two column, or it could be even millions of row columns. All will have a schema. It will have a data type. We will delve into that deeper in couple of minutes in this video. And finally, and more importantly, Glue catalog will allow ETL tools like Athena or Spark to query the data. So once I put this data inside this cluster, you have to do something with the data, right? That is where query tools like Spark, Athena come into picture. This is the overall theory of what is Glue catalog and why the Glue catalog is required, and how are we going to what will be the purpose of Glue catalog. What we have to do next is we have to use the Glue catalog in some way for our data that we are going to store in S3. For that, we will be using AWS Wrangler library, and there are Glue catalog related tables and database and create database methods. We will also have various kinds of writing and reading to be done using Glue catalog. But before we go here, I want to take a detour and show it to you in Amazon Web Console how the Glue catalog looks. Because once you understand how it looks inside the Amazon Web Console, it will be much easier for you to visualize when you are going to program it. Without this visualization, without having a relationship or understanding, it will be difficult for you to follow the Pythonic way of interacting with Glue catalog. So let us go into Amazon AWS Glue. So if I click this link, it will go into Amazon AWS Glue page. Once you go into this page, you will find a lot of information. There is so much information in this page and in a lot of other AWS pages also. But what you need to concentrate is these two links, database and database tables. As I told you, Glue catalog is database of tables. If you click on databases, you will see a list of databases coming here. In my AWS account, you will see all this list, but in yours, it might be empty also. So don't worry about that. We will make it full very soon. And if you click on any of these databases, let me click on YouTube data. It will show me the list of tables inside the database. This is called tables. And as I explained to you in the presentation, that Glue catalog will have reference having location of the data. So if you come here, you will see that there is location of the data. You see this? This is what I was telling. Second point that I explained to you, that it also stores the schema of the table, schema of the data. So let us see what I mean by that. If you click on this particular link, this is actually the table name. If you click on this, you will actually go into the table overview. If you come here, you click on actions and go into edit schema. This is important. You have to go into edit schema, and then you will see the various column names and the data types. This is called a schema. When we are going to work with Glue catalog in the next video, I will be sharing a very simple file that I already shared. I have already given the data to you in source folder. You will see we'll be working with top earners underscore list.csv. So this is a very simple file which has only 5 columns, and we are going to create a similar kind of a table. We are going to first of all create a database. Wait a second. We will be creating a database here, and inside the database we will start creating tables also. I will be showing a similar kind of a setup in the next video. However, we will not be using any of the AWS CLI here. We will not create the database by adding the database here. We will not come here and we will not add the table by clicking this, or in fact, we will not use glue crawler also. In order to make the table in glue catalog, the regular process which is shown is that you need to use a crawler. However, that is not the case. You don't need to use a crawler. You can use AWS Wrangler for that. We are going to see that how. Even there are other ways apart from AWS Wrangler also. However, I want you guys to understand how to create it without AWS crawler. You will be asking why. Because the answer will be given here. You come to the home page and you will see that the crawler, usage of crawler will cost you $0.44 per DPU hour. What this means is that, let us go to your S3 bucket. In your S3 bucket, you have lots of data and you want to load this data. You want to create a reference of this data in your Glue catalog. Okay, why will you want to do that? Because you want to transform it. You have a huge data. For an example, I have a data which is called YT starter data backup, and it has a lot of information regarding YouTube links, YouTube views, and statistics, etc. for various regions. And I want to find out everything about this into a single table. So what I do, I can actually go to Glue catalog. I can go to the Glue web page and I can create a crawler. I already created a crawler for that matter. However, it is not required. So you can go here and you can create a crawler. You will see that I have created a lot of crawlers here already. And this DYT crawler 1 is what I had created in the past. What this does is it will actually create a reference. If you go back to my presentation, we will see that it will create the location of the data reference. Also, it will find out what is the schema of the data so that ETL tools like Athena and Spark can query the data. This is the overall picture that I wanted to show you about Glue catalog. In the next video, we will start working on these commands. Also on these commands where we write. You have already seen this. We have already seen the 2 CSV, 2 Parquet, 2 JSON file in our earlier, the video that you saw in the 5th video. You would have already seen these methods, but here we will be using it along with the database name and table and data set equal to true parameters, and using this we will be writing the Glue catalog tables also. I will be explaining it with examples in the next video. Stay tuned for that. Now let me just recap what we learned. We learned what is a big data. Then we understood what is a Glue catalog, what is the problem it solves, and what are the benefits of having Glue catalog, like it will help in querying from Athena and Spark. And then I introduced what is going to come next. So stay tuned for the next video. We will start working on directly with the Jupyter notebooks. The Jupyter notebooks that I have shared in the repo. You can go to this repo. If you have not downloaded it, please download that. If you go into Jupyter books, we will be working on Athena Glue through AWS Wrangler. We will be working on this notebook in the next video. Till then, have a nice time and see you then, data leaders.